Han Dang and the Zhou Tai learned that Liu Bei had already moved his camps into the shade of the forest to escape the summer heat, so they quickly came to report to Lu Sun. Lu Sun was pleased after hearing this and personally led troops to inspect the situation. He saw a camp set up on the flat ground with fewer than 10,000 soldiers, most of them old and weak. In front of the camp, the great banner bore 4 words, Vanguard Wu Ban. Zhou Tai said, "This small force cannot withstand even one attack. I am willing to split into 2 routes with General Han and attack them. If we cannot take the camp, I am willing to accept military punishment." Lu Sun watched for a long time, then pointed with his horsewhip toward the valley ahead and said, "Look there! A faint killing aura is rising from that valley. There must be ambush troops below. The weak soldiers on the flat ground are only bait Liu Bei has set out to lure us in. We must not go into battle." After hearing this, the generals all felt that Lu Sun was timid. The next day, Wu Ban led troops to challenge in front of the pass, showing off his strength and cursing without stop. Some soldiers even took off their armor, bared their upper bodies, and either sat or lay in front of the formation, doing everything they could to provoke the enemy. Su Sheng and Ding Feng could no longer endure it. They entered the tent and said to Lu Sun, "The Shu soldiers have gone too far in insulting us. We are willing to lead troops into battle." Lu Sun smiled and said, "You are only hot-blooded and still do not understand the subtlety of warfare. This is their plan to lure us out. Wait 3 more days and the flaw will appear." Su Sheng said, "If we wait 3 more days, their camps will already be firmly settled. How can we still attack?" Lu Sun said, "That is exactly what I want. I want them to move their camps." When the generals heard this, they withdrew with faces full of contempt. 3 days later, Lu Sun summoned the generals and climbed the pass with them to look into the distance. They saw that Wu Ban's troops had already withdrawn. Lu Sun pointed ahead and said, "Look, the killing aura has now risen. Liu Bei will surely come out from the valley." Before he had finished speaking, they saw the Shu army fully armed, escorting Liu Bei as he slowly passed by. When the Eastern Wu soldiers saw how strict and orderly the Shu formation was, they all felt afraid. Lu Sun said, "The reason I would not let you attack Wu Ban was for this moment. Now the ambush has been exposed. Within 10 days, the Shu army will surely be defeated." The generals still had doubts and said, "If we wanted to attack the Shu army, we should have acted earlier. Now they have linked their camps for 500 or 600 li, held their ground for 7 or 8 months, and set up defenses at every important point. How can they still be easily defeated?" Lu Sun replied, "You do not understand the art of war. Liu Bei is a great hero of this age, and originally his strategy was extraordinary. When he first arrived, his discipline was strict and morale was high, so we could not move lightly. Now the 2 armies have faced each other for a long time, and he has made no progress. His soldiers are tired, and their hearts are scattered. This is exactly the time to strike." Only then did the generals suddenly understand and begin to admire Lu Sun. After Lu Sun settled on his plan to defeat Shu, he immediately wrote a letter to Sun Quan, saying that the Shu army could be broken in the coming days. Sun Quan was delighted after reading it and said, "Jiang Dong has such an extraordinary talent. What do I still have to worry about? Those generals all say he is weak and cowardly, but I refuse to believe it. Now, looking at his arrangements, he is clearly not a timid man." So Sun Quan ordered troops to be mobilized and prepared to support Lu Sun. Meanwhile, Liu Bei gathered the navy at Xiaoting and moved down along the river. He set up naval camps by the river and continued pushing deeper into eastern Wu territory. Huang Quan advised him, "The navy is moving downstream. It is easy to attack, but difficult to retreat. I am willing to lead the vanguard ahead. Your Majesty should stay in the rear formation." "That would be safer," Liu Bei said. "The thieves of eastern Wu have already been frightened out of their wits. I will fight my way forward. What is there to fear?" The officials pleaded with him, but Liu Bei still refused to listen. So Liu Bei divided the army into 2 routes. He ordered Huang Quan to command the army north of the river to guard against Tao Wei. Liu Bei himself personally led the forces south of the river, setting up camps along both river banks and preparing to continue the attack. A spy delivered the news to Wei overnight, saying, "The Shu army is attacking Wu. They have set up camps along the river, stretching for more than 700 li, with more than 40 camps in all. Most of them are built beside mountains, forests, and water. Huang Quan commands the forces north of the river and patrols 100 li every day. It is unclear what he is planning." After hearing this, Cao Pi threw back his head and laughed. Liu Bei is finished this time. The officials did not understand. Cao Pi said, "Liu Bei does not understand warfare. How can anyone link camps for 700 li and still defend against an enemy? Even worse, he has placed his camps in low open ground and among dense mountains and forests. This is a great taboo in military strategy. This time, he will surely be defeated by Lu Xun of Eastern Wu. Within 10 days, news of his defeat will arrive. The officials still did not fully believe it, and all asked Cao Pi to send troops as a precaution. Cao Pi then said, if Lu Xun wins, he will certainly move his troops west and attack western Sichuan. Once the Wu army moves far away from Jiangdong, Eastern Wu's rear will be empty. I only need to use the excuse of sending troops to support them. Order 3 armies to attack at the same time, and Eastern Wu can be taken in one move. So Cao Pi orders Cao Ren to lead one force out through Rexu, Cao Xiu to lead one force out through Dengkou, and Cao Zhen to lead one force out through Nan Commandery. The 3 routes were to meet at an agreed time and secretly attack Eastern Wu, while Cao Pi himself would later personally lead troops to support them. Meanwhile, Ma Liang returned to Sichuan, met Zhuge Liang, and presented the map book of Liu Bei's camps. He said, His Majesty has now set up camps along the river for more than 700 li, divided into more than 40 locations. All of them are near mountains and streams, placed in areas with dense trees. His Majesty ordered me to bring the maps here for the Chancellor to inspect. Zhuge Liang opened the map book and, after one look, struck the table and cried out in distress. Who told His Majesty to set up camps like this? This person should be executed, Ma Liang said. These were all arranged personally by His Majesty. It was not someone else's plan. Zhuge Liang sighed. The fate of the Han is in danger. Placing camps in low open ground and dense mountain forests is a great taboo in warfare. If the enemy uses fire attack, how can they resist? Besides, how can anyone link camps for 700 li to defend against an enemy? Disaster is right before us. The reason Lu Xun has held his troops still is precisely because he saw this. Hurry back to see His Majesty and tell him to rearrange the camps immediately. This absolutely cannot continue. Ma Liang asked, if the Wu army has already won by the time I return, what should we do? Zhuge Liang said, Lu Xun will not dare pursue into western Sichuan. Chengdu can still be preserved. Ma Liang asked again, why will he not dare pursue? Zhuge Liang answered, he fears that Wei will take advantage of the opening and attack Wu. If our lord truly suffers defeat, have him retreat and defend Beidi City. When I entered Sichuan, I already placed 100,000 soldiers at Yufu Bank. Ma Liang was shocked and said, I have passed through Yufu Bank several times on this journey, and I have never seen a single soldier. Chancellor, are you perhaps deceiving me? Zhuge Liang smiled without answering and only said, you will know later. There is no need to ask more. After taking leave, Ma Liang hurried back to Liu Bei's main camp, while Zhuge Liang also began mobilizing troops in Chengdu and preparing to send rescue. Seeing that the Shu army was gradually becoming careless and its defenses were loosening, Lu Xun ascended the command tent and summoned the generals. He said, ever since I received command, I have held the army still. Now the true condition of the Shu army is clear. Tonight, we will first take one camp on the southern bank of the river. Who dares go? Han Dang, Zhou Tai, Ling Tong, and the others all requested the mission. But Lu Xun told them to withdraw, then called in only the junior general, Chong Yudan. He said, I give you 5,000 soldiers. Tonight, you must attack the 4th camp on the southern bank. It is guarded by Fu Tong. If you can succeed, I will support you. After that, Lu Xun ordered Su Sheng and Ding Feng to each take 3,000 soldiers and station themselves 5 li outside the camp. He instructed them, if Chong Yudan is defeated and flees back, and enemy soldiers pursue him, then go out to rescue him, but do not pursue too far. Everyone accepted the orders and left. At dusk, Chong Yudan led his army out. After the 3rd watch, he reached the Shu camp. He ordered his soldiers to beat drums and shout, then force their way into the camp. The defending general Fu Tong came forward with his spear and charged straight at Chong Yudan. Chong Yudan could not resist him, turned his horse and fled. Suddenly, shouting rose behind the mountain and a Shu force blocked the road. The leader was Zhao Rong. Chong Yudan fought desperately to escape, suffering heavy losses. Before he had gone far, tribal troops also charged out from behind the mountain, led by the barbarian general Shimok. Chong Yudan fought bitterly before finally breaking free, but 3 more routes of Shu soldiers chased him from behind. When he fled to a place 5 li from the Wu camp, Su Sheng and Ding Feng charged out from the left and right. Only then did they drive back the pursuers and rescue Chong Yudan. Chong Yudan had been hit by several arrows. He entered the tent and asked for punishment, but Lu Xun said, this is not your fault. I was using this to test the true strength of the Shu army. The plan to defeat Shu has already been decided. Su Sheng and Ding Feng were still worried and said, the Shu army is powerful. We fear it will be difficult to break them. To attack so rashly will only waste soldiers and generals. Lu Xun smiled and said, only Zhuge Liang might be able to see through my plan. Fortunately, he is not here now. This is my chance to win merit. So Lu Xun summoned all the officers and soldiers high and low and issued military orders. Zhu Ran would advance by water. Tomorrow afternoon the southeast wind would rise. Boats would be filled with dry grass and used according to the plan. Han Dong would attack the north bank of the river, while Zhou Tai would attack the south bank. Every soldier was to carry a bundle of dry grass in his hand, with sulfur and saltpeter hidden inside. Everyone was to carry fire and hold weapons. As soon as they reached the Shu camps, they were to set fires with the wind. Of the 40 Shu camps, they were to burn only 20, setting fire to every other camp. All armies were to prepare dry rations. No one was allowed to retreat. They were to pursue day and night, and success would only count if Liu Bei was captured. The generals accepted the orders and each made preparations. Meanwhile, Liu Bei was in the imperial camp, thinking hard about how to defeat Wu. Suddenly, he saw the banner in front of the central command tent fall over by itself without wind. He asked Cheng Ji, "What omen is this?" Cheng Ji said, "I fear the Wu army will try to raid the camp tonight." Liu Bei said, "We just defeated them last night. How would they dare come again?" Cheng Ji reminded him, "What if Lu Xun was only testing us last night?" As they were speaking, a scout came to report that from the mountain, he had seen Wu soldiers moving eastward along the terrain. Liu Bei said, "That is a decoy force." So he ordered the army to sit still and not move. He also ordered Guan Xing and Zhang Bao to each take 500 cavalry and patrol outside the camp. At dusk, Guan Xing returned and reported, "The camp north of the river is on fire." Liu Bei quickly ordered Guan Xing to go north of the river and Zhang Bao to go south of the river to find out the enemy situation. If the Wu army truly came, they were to report back immediately. At the first watch, a sudden southeast wind rose fiercely. A camp on the left side of the imperial camp suddenly caught fire. Just as soldiers were about to put it out, the camp on the right also caught fire. The wind was strong, the fire was fierce, and all the trees were set ablaze. Shouting shook the sky. The soldiers from both camps fled at the same time, and the troops in the imperial camp trampled over one another, causing countless deaths and injuries. Immediately after, Wu troops attacked from behind, their numbers impossible to tell. Liu Bei hurriedly mounted his horse and rushed toward Fengshi's camp, only to see Fengshi's camp also blazing with fire. On both the southern and northern banks of the river, the flames had joined into one vast sea, lighting the night as bright as day. Fengshi mounted his horse in panic and fled with only several dozen riders, just as Zhu Xing came attacking with troops. The two fought. Seeing that the situation was bad, Liu Bei turned his horse and fled west. Zhu Xing abandoned Fengshi and led his troops in pursuit. While Liu Bei was in panic, Ding Feng blocked the road ahead, and with enemies attacking from two sides, the situation became extremely dangerous. Just when Liu Bei had no way out on any side, shouting suddenly rose loudly, and a Shu force charged into the encirclement. It was Zhang Bao arriving with troops. He rescued Liu Bei and protected the imperial guards as they broke out. While they were fleeing, another force appeared ahead. It was the Shu general Fu Tong, who joined them as they moved. Behind them, the Wu army pursued relentlessly. Liu Bei fled to the front of a mountain called Ma'an Mountain. Zhang Bao and Fu Tong asked Liu Bei to go up the mountain and take shelter for the moment. Just after they climbed the mountain, shouting rose again below. Lu Xun personally led a great army and surrounded Ma'an Mountain completely. Zhang Bao and Fu Tong defended the mountain pass to the death. Liu Bei looked out from afar and saw firelight everywhere, never ending. Corpses lay piled on one another, stretching down along the river. The scene was too terrible to bear. The next day, the Wu army set fires on all sides to burn the mountain. The Shu soldiers fled in every direction, and Liu Bei was terrified and helpless. Suddenly, through the flames, he saw a general leading several riders up the mountain. It was Guan Xing. Guan Xing knelt and reported, "The fire is closing in from all sides. This place cannot be held for long. Your Majesty, please hurry to Baidi City and reorganize the army later." Liu Bei asked, "Who dares guard the rear?" Fu Tong submitted, "I am willing to fight to the death and guard the rear." At dusk that day, Guan Xing led the way. Zhang Bao stayed in the middle, and Fu Tong guarded the rear. Together, they protected Liu Bei and fought their way out of the encirclement. When the Wu troops saw Liu Bei fleeing, everyone wanted to win the merit of capturing him. They chased westward in overwhelming numbers. Liu Bei ordered the soldiers to take off their robes and armor, piled them on the road, and set them on fire to block the pursuing troops. As they fled, another wave of shouting suddenly rose ahead. The Wu general Zhu Ran led troops from the riverbank and blocked the road. Liu Bei cried out, "I am going to die here." Guan Xing and Zhang Bao fought desperately, but they were driven back by a storm of arrows. Both of them were seriously wounded and could not break through. Behind them, Lu Xun again led a great army out from the valley, and the situation became extremely dangerous. As dawn was just beginning to break, they suddenly heard battle cries shaking the sky from ahead. Zhu Ran's army suddenly fell into chaos, and many soldiers tumbled into the mountain stream. A force came charging through. It was Zhao Zilong of Changshan coming to rescue the emperor. It turned out that Zhao Yun had been in Jingzhou. Hearing that Wu and Shu were at war, he led troops to come quickly. On the road, he saw flames rising into the sky in the southeast and felt alarmed. After sending men to investigate, he learned that Liu Bei had been surrounded, so he charged forward with all his strength. When Lu Xun heard that Zhao Yun had arrived, he hurriedly ordered a retreat. In the fighting, Zhao Yun encountered Zhu Ran. In less than one exchange, he stabbed Zhu Ran from his horse with one spear thrust, scattered the Wu troops, rescued Liu Bei, and escorted him toward Baidi City. Liu Bei sighed and said, "Although I have escaped with my life, what will happen to the generals and soldiers?" Zhao Yun said, "The enemy is right behind us. We cannot stay here long. Your Majesty should first enter Baidi City and rest. I will then lead troops back to rescue the generals." At this time, only a little over 100 men followed Liu Bei into Baidi City. Fu Tong stayed behind to guard the rear and was surrounded on all sides by the Wu army. Ding Feng shouted loudly, "The Shu army has suffered countless deaths and injuries, and many have surrendered. Your lord Liu Bei has already been captured. You are alone with no help. Why not surrender now?" Fu Tong angrily rebuked him. "I am a Han general. How could I bow my head to Wu dogs?" With that, he raised his spear, mounted his horse, and led the remaining soldiers in a desperate fight. He charged forward and backward, but still could not break through. Fu Tong looked up to heaven and sighed, "Today I will die here." Then he vomited blood and died in battle among the Wu troops. The libationer Cheng Ji rode alone to the riverside and shouted for the navy to meet the enemy. When the Wu troops pursued them, the navy scattered and fled. His subordinates shouted, "The Wu army has arrived. Libationer Cheng, run quickly." Cheng Ji said angrily, "Since I followed my lord on campaign, I have never fled before the enemy." Before he finished speaking, the Wu troops had already rushed in front of him. With no road open on any side, Cheng Ji drew his sword and killed himself. Wu Ban and Zhang Nan had originally been surrounding Yiling. Suddenly, Feng Shi came to report that the Shu army had suffered a great defeat. The two then led troops to rescue Liu Bei. Song Huan seized the chance to escape from Yiling. Jiang Nan and Feng Shi were halfway there when Wu troops suddenly attacked from the front, while Song Huan pursued from Yiling behind them. Attacked from both sides, Jiang Nan and Feng Shi fought with all their strength, but in the end, they could not break through and died in the chaos. Wu Ban broke out of the encirclement, but was chased by the Wu army. Fortunately, Zhao Yun arrived to support him and rescued him back to Baidi City. When the barbarian king Shamok fled, he encountered Zhou Tai. The two fought for more than 20 rounds, and Shamok was killed by Zhou Tai. The Shu generals Du Lu and Lu Ning surrendered to the Wu army one after another. Almost all the grain, supplies, and weapons in the Shu camps were seized by Eastern Wu, and the number of Sichuan soldiers who surrendered was beyond counting. In Wu, Lady Sun heard that the army had been defeated at Shaoting, and rumors also spread that Liu Bei had died in battle. Overcome with grief, she drove to the riverside, looked west, and wept bitterly. Then she threw herself into the river and died. Later generations built a shrine for her by the river, named the Shrine of Lady Xiaoji. After Lu Xun won this great victory, he led the army to continue pursuing westward and was about to reach Kuai Pass. Suddenly, from horseback, he looked far ahead and saw that near the mountain and the river, a fierce killing aura was rising into the sky. He immediately reined in his horse, turned back, and said to the generals, "There must be ambush troops ahead. The whole army must not advance rashly." So he withdrew more than 10 li and formed ranks in an open area to guard against danger, while also sending scouts ahead to investigate. The scouts returned and reported, "There is not a single soldier or horse ahead." Lu Xun did not believe it. He personally dismounted and climbed to a high place to look. He saw that the killing aura was still rising. He again sent men to investigate carefully, and the scouts reported, "By the river, there are only 80 or 90 piles of scattered stones. There are no troops or horses." Lu Xun was puzzled, so he found local people and asked them. The locals answered, "This place is called Yufu Bank. In the past, when Zhuge Liang entered Sichuan, He arranged stones here into a formation and placed them on the sandbank. Since then, clouds and mist often rise from inside it. After hearing this, Lu Xun took several dozen riders forward to inspect it. Standing on the slope and looking down, he saw paths and openings in every direction. Lu Xun laughed and said, "It is only a little trick to deceive people. What use could it have?" So he took a few close attendants down the mountain and entered the stone formation to examine it. His officers advised him, "It will soon be dark. Grand Commander, please return early." Lu Xun was just about to leave the formation when a violent wind suddenly rose. Sand and stones flew through the air, blocking the sky and covering the sun. Strange rocks rose everywhere, like swords and halberds. Piles of sand and earth overlapped like mountains. The river waves rolled and roared as if 10,000 drums were sounding at once. Lu Xun was shocked and cried, "I have fallen into Kong Ming's trap." He hurriedly tried to leave, but found no road out. While he was in panic, he suddenly saw an old man standing before his horse, smiling and asking, "General, do you wish to leave this formation?" Lu Xun quickly said, "I hope, old sir, that you will lead me out." The old man walked slowly with his staff and led Lu Xun straight out of the stone formation. The way was clear and without obstruction, and he brought him to the hillside. Lu Xun asked, "May I ask your honored name?" The old man replied, "I am Huang Chenyan, the father-in-law of Zhuge Kongming. When my son-in-law entered Sichuan, he laid down this stone formation here. It is called the 8 Formations Diagram. Using the art of Dunjia, it is divided into the 8 gates: rest, life, injury, obstruction, scenery, death, fear, and opening. It changes endlessly every day and every hour and is more powerful than 100,000 soldiers. When he left, he instructed me that if a great general of Eastern Wu mistakenly entered this formation, I was not to lead him out. Just now, from the cliff, I saw that you entered through the gate of death. I guessed that you did not understand this formation and would surely lose your way inside. I could not bear to see you trapped, so I led you out through the gate of life." Lu Xun asked again, "Old sir, have you also learned this formation?" Huang Chenyan smiled and said, "The changes of this formation are endless. It cannot be learned at all." Lu Xun quickly dismounted and bowed in thanks, then returned to camp. After Lu Xun returned to camp, he sighed and said, "Kong Ming truly deserves to be called the Sleeping Dragon. I am not his equal." He then ordered the army to withdraw. His officers advised him, "Liu Bei has now lost his army and is trapped in a lonely city. This is the perfect chance to pursue him. Why withdraw because of a stone formation?" Lu Xun said, "I am not withdrawing because I fear the stone formation. I believe the Wei ruler Cao Pi is just as crafty as his father. Now that he knows I am pursuing the Shu army, he will certainly take advantage of Eastern Wu's emptiness and attack. If I go deep into Western Sichuan, then when the time comes, retreating will be difficult." So he sent a great general to guard the rear, while he led the main force back. Sure enough, before they had been gone for 2 days, 3 routes of scouts came riding with urgent reports. The Wei general Cao Ren had led troops out from Ruxiu, Cao Xiu had led troops out from Dongkou, and Cao Jin had led troops out from Nan Commandery. 3 great armies, numbering several 100,000, were rushing forward day and night. Their intention was unknown. After hearing this, Lu Xun smiled and said, "It is exactly as I expected. I have already ordered men to set up defenses in response." In the 6th month of summer, in the 2nd year of Zhang Wu, Lu Xun of Eastern Wu defeated the Shu army around Shaoting and Yiling. Liu Bei quickly retreated to Baidi City and ordered Zhao Yun to lead troops in firm defense. Suddenly, Ma Liang arrived. Seeing that the great army had already suffered a crushing defeat, he was filled with regret and immediately told Liu Bei every word of Kong Ming's advice. Liu Bei sighed and said, "If I had listened to the chancellor back then, I would never have fallen to this point today. Now, what face do I still have to return to Chengdu and city officials?" So he ordered the army to stay temporarily at Baidi City and changed the post house into Yong'an Palace. At this time, someone reported that Feng Shi, Zheng Nan, Fu Tong, Chen Ji, Shamok, and others had all died in battle. Liu Bei was deeply grieved after hearing this. Before long, a close attendant reported again, "Huang Quan has led the troops north of the river and surrendered to Wei. Should your majesty hand his family over to the authorities for punishment?" Liu Bei said, "Huang Quan was cut off north of the river by Wu troops. He wanted to return but could not, and only surrendered to Wei because he had no other choice. It was I who failed Huang Quan, not Huang Quan who failed me. Why should his family be punished?" So he continued to issue salary and rations to Huang Quan's family as before. Meanwhile, after Huang Quan surrendered to Wei, the Wei generals brought him to see Cao Pi. Cao Pi asked him, "Now that you have submitted to me, are you trying to imitate Cheng Bing and Han Xin?" Huang Quan replied with tears, "I received great kindness from the ruler of Shu, and he treated me very well. This time, I was ordered to lead troops and guard the north bank of the river, but Lu Song cut off my route back. I had no way to return to Shu, and no way to surrender to Wu, so I came to your majesty. I am only a defeated general. To keep my life is already great fortune. How would I dare compare myself to the men of ancient times?" Cao Pi was very pleased after hearing this and appointed him general who guards the south, but Huang Quan firmly refused to accept it. Suddenly, a close attendant reported, "A spy has come from Shu, saying that the ruler of Shu has killed all of Huang Quan's family." Huang Quan said, "The ruler of Shu and I treated each other with sincerity and spoke from the heart. He understands me. It is impossible that he would harm my family." Cao Pi heard this and greatly approved of Huang Quan. Later, someone wrote a poem criticizing Huang Quan. He could not surrender to Wu, yet he surrendered to Cao. How can loyalty serve two courts? It is sad that Huang Quan cherished his life too much, and Ziyang's judgment in history did not easily forgive him. This means he could not surrender to Wu, yet he surrendered to Wei. How can loyalty try to please both sides? It is sad that Huang Quan could not give up his life and die, and history's record did not forgive him. At this time, Cao Pi asked Jia Su, "I want to unite the world. Should I attack Shu first or Wu first?" Jia Su replied, "Liu Bei is a man of outstanding talent, and he has Zhuge Liang assisting him in governing the state. Sun Quan is also not simple. He can clearly judge the truth and weakness of the enemy. Now, Lu Sun is leading troops and holding dangerous positions, separated from us by rivers and lakes, so neither side is easy to deal with immediately. In my view, among the generals of the world, no one can surpass Liu Bei and Sun Quan. Even if your majesty personally leads the army, victory may not be certain. It would be better to watch quietly and wait until their two states change internally before sending troops." Cao Pi said, "I have already sent 3 routes of great armies to attack eastern Wu. How could there be any reason we will not win?" The minister Liu Ye advised, "Recently, Lu Sun of eastern Wu has just defeated Shu's 700,000 troops. Their upper and lower ranks are united, and they also have the natural defense of the Yangtze River. It will be hard to take them quickly. Besides, Lu Sun is full of strategy, and he must already be prepared," Cao Pi said. "Were you not the one who earlier advised me to attack eastern Wu? Why are you now trying to stop me?" Liu Ye said, "The timing is different. Earlier, eastern Wu had suffered repeated defeats, and their morale was low, so we could attack. Now they have just won a great victory, and their morale is strong. This is not the right time to move." Cao Pi said, "My decision is already made. Say no more." So he personally led the imperial guards to support the 3 routes of armies. Sure enough, scouts reported that eastern Wu had long been prepared. They sent Lu Fan to block Cao Shou, Zhu Jin to stop Cao Zhen at Nan Commandery, and Zhu Huan to defend Ruxu against Tao Ren. Liu Ye again advised, since they were already prepared, going now may be useless. But Cao Pi refused to listen and insisted on leading the army out. Now, the Wu general Zhu Huan was only 27 years old at the time, but he had exceptional courage and strategy, and Sun Quan admired him greatly. Zhu Huan was commanding troops at Ruxu. When he learned that Cao Ren had led a large army to attack Xiangqi, he sent almost all his forces to defend Xiangqi, and kept only 5,000 cavalry to guard Ruxu city. Suddenly, he received urgent intelligence saying that Cao Ren had sent the great general Chang Diao with Zhuge Qian, Wang Shuang, and others, leading 50,000 elite troops straight toward Ruxu. When the soldiers heard this, they were all terrified, and fear appeared on their faces. Zhu Huan, however, held his sword and said calmly, "Victory and defeat in war depend on the general, not on whether the soldiers are many or few. The art of war says that even when enemy troops come from far away and are twice as many as the defending troops fighting on home ground, the defenders may still win. Now Cao Ren has traveled 1,000 li from far away. His men and horses are exhausted. We are guarding a high city, with the great river to the south and dangerous mountains to the north. We wait at ease while they are tired. The situation between host and guest is clear. This is a position in which 100 battles can bring 100 victories. Even if Cao Pi came personally, he would not be worth fearing, much less Cao Ren." So he ordered the army to lower banners and silence drums, pretending that no one was defending the city. Meanwhile, the Wei vanguard, Chang Diao, led elite troops to Ruxu. Seeing that the city walls were quiet, and from a distance there did not seem to be a single soldier on the walls, he urged his troops to advance quickly. Just as they reached the area near the city, there was suddenly one cannon blast. Banners rose all at once, and Zhu Huan charged out on horseback with his blade, attacking Chang Diao directly. The two had fought fewer than 3 rounds when Zhu Huan cut Chang Diao down from his horse with one stroke. The Wu army took advantage of the moment and launched a fierce attack. The Wei army was badly defeated, with countless dead and wounded. Zhu Huan won a great victory and seized many banners, weapons, and war horses. Before long, Cao Ren arrived with troops, but he ran into Wu troops attacking from Shanxi. Caught between 2 attacks, Cao Ren suffered a major defeat and could only retreat, reporting the whole battle to the Wei ruler in detail. When Cao Pi heard of the defeat, he was greatly shocked. While he was discussing what to do, a scout suddenly reported, when Cao Zhen and Jia Haoshang attacked Nan Commandery, they were struck by Lu Sun's ambush from within and Zhu Zhijin's ambush from outside. They suffered a crushing defeat. Before he finished speaking, another fast rider arrived and reported, Cao Xiu has also been defeated by Lu Fan. When Cao Pi heard that all 3 routes had failed, he could not help sighing deeply. If I had listened to Jia Su and Lu Ye, I would not have ended up like this. At that time, it was also the height of summer, and disease spread heavily through the army. 60 or 70% of the soldiers died, so he had no choice but to lead the army back to Luoyang. From then on, Wu and Wei were no longer on good terms. Now, while Liu Bei was staying at Yong'an Palace, he became ill, and his condition did not improve. Day by day it grew worse. On the 4th day of the 4th month in summer, in the 3rd year of Zhongwu, Liu Bei felt that the illness had already entered his limbs. Then he thought again of his 2 brothers Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, and could not help crying bitterly. Once his emotions were stirred, the illness became even worse. Later, he could not even see clearly. He did not want to see the attendants serving him, so he ordered everyone around him to withdraw and lay alone on the dragon bed. Suddenly, a cold wind blew fiercely, making the lamp flicker, brightening and darkening again and again. In the shadow of the lamp, 2 men appeared. Liu Bei was angry and said, "My mind is already troubled. I told you all to leave earlier. Why have you come back?" But no matter how he scolded them, the 2 men did not leave. Liu Bei struggled to rise and look, and saw that the one standing in front was Guan Yu, while behind him was Yied. Liu Bei was startled and said, "So my 2 brothers are still alive?" Guan Yu said, "We are not men, we are ghosts. Because the heavenly emperor saw that we 2 brothers never failed in faith and righteousness throughout our lives, he has already made us spirits. Elder brother, the time for you to reunite with us will not be far away." When Liu Bei heard this, he could no longer hold back and cried aloud. As he cried, he suddenly woke from the dream. Looking again, his 2 brothers had disappeared. He hurriedly called the attendants and asked the time. It was the 3rd watch of the night. Liu Bei sighed and said, "I fear I will not live much longer." So he immediately sent men to Chengdu to summon Chancellor Zhu Liang, Secretariat Director Li Yan, and the others. They traveled through the night to Yong'an Palace to receive his final arrangements. Kongming and the others arrived at Yong'an Palace together with Liu Bei's 2nd son, Liu Yong, King of Lu, and Liu Li, King of Liang, to see the emperor, while Crown Prince Liu Shan stayed in Chengdu to guard the city. When Kongming arrived at Yong'an Palace and saw how seriously ill Liu Bei was, he hurriedly knelt beneath the dragon bed. Liu Bei gave the order for Kongming to sit beside the bed, then stroked Kongming's back and said, "Ever since I received the Chancellor's assistance, I was fortunate enough to achieve the imperial enterprise. Sadly, my wisdom and insight were shallow. I did not listen to the Chancellor's good advice and brought defeat upon myself. I am filled with regret. My illness grows worse, and death is now only a matter of morning or evening. My crown prince is weak in ability, so I have no choice but to entrust the affairs of the state to you." After saying this, tears flowed from his eyes. Kongming also wept and said, "May your majesty take care of your imperial body, to calm the hopes of the whole realm." At this time, Liu Bei looked around and saw Ma Liang's younger brother, Ma Su, standing nearby. Liu Bei ordered him to withdraw first. After Ma Su left, Liu Bei said to Kongming, "Chancellor, what do you think of Ma Su's ability?" Kongming replied, "He can be counted as a talented man of this age." Liu Bei shook his head and said, "No, in my view, this man is only strong with words. He speaks much but does little. He is someone whose words exceed his real ability. He must not be given great responsibility. Chancellor, you must judge him carefully." After giving these instructions, Liu Bei ordered the officials to be summoned into the hall. He had paper and brush brought in and personally wrote his final edict. He handed it to Kongming and sighed, "I have not read many books. I only roughly understand their general meaning. The sages said, when a bird is about to die, its cry is sorrowful. When a man is about to die, his words are kind. I originally planned to destroy the Cao traitor together with all of you and support the revival of the Han. I did not expect to stop halfway. I must trouble the Chancellor to give this edict to Crown Prince Liu Shan and tell him not to treat it as ordinary words. From now on, in all affairs of government, I hope the Chancellor will guide him carefully." Kong Ming and the others knelt on the ground and cried as they bowed. "May Your Majesty take good care of your imperial body. We are willing to give all the strength of dogs and horses to repay Your Majesty for recognizing and trusting us." Liu Bei ordered someone to help Kong Ming up. With one hand, he wiped away his tears, and with the other, he held Kong Ming's hand. He said, "I am about to die now. There are a few words from my heart that I must tell you." Kong Ming replied, "Please give your command, Your Majesty." Liu Bei cried and said, "Your talent is 10 times greater than Cao Pi's. You will surely be able to bring peace to the state and accomplish the great enterprise. If my son is worth assisting, then assist him. If he is not capable, then you may take the position yourself as the ruler of Chengdu." When Kong Ming heard this, cold sweat ran over his entire body. He did not know where to place his hands or feet. He knelt on the ground and wept bitterly, saying, "How could I dare do anything other than give all my heart and strength, remain loyal and faithful, bow myself to the task, and work until death ends it all?" After saying this, he kowtowed until blood flowed from his forehead. Liu Bei again asked Kong Ming to sit back beside the bed. Then he summoned Liu Yong, king of Lu, and Liu Li, king of Liang, to come before him and said to them, "You two must remember my words. After I am gone, you 3 brothers must respect the Chancellor as you would respect your father. You must not neglect him." After saying this, he ordered them both to bow to Kong Ming. After the two had bowed, Kong Ming replied, "Even if I were shattered into pieces and gave my very body and brain to the ground, how could I ever repay Your Majesty for recognizing and trusting me like this?" Liu Bei then said to the officials, "I have already entrusted my orphaned son to the Chancellor and ordered the Crown Prince to treat him as he would treat his father. All of you must also assist him loyally. You must not be lazy or fail the trust I leave to you." Then he spoke especially to Zhao Yun and said, "You and I have come through hardship together and supported each other all the way until today. I did not expect that we would part here. You must remember our old friendship and always look after my son. Do not fail the words I speak to you today." Zhao Yun bowed with tears and said, "How would I dare not give all the strength of a dog or horse?" Liu Bei then said to all the officials, "My dear ministers, I do not have time to give each of you instructions one by one. I only hope that all of you will take care of yourselves." After saying these words, he passed away at the age of 63. This happened on the 24th day of the 4th month in summer, in the 3rd year of Zhangwu. After Liu Bei died, all the civil and military officials wept in grief. Zhuge Liang led the ministers in escorting the coffin back to Chengdu. Crown Prince Liu Shan personally went out of the city to receive it and placed the coffin in the main hall. After the mourning and sacrifice rites were completed, they opened the late emperor's final edict and read it aloud. In the edict, he said, "At first, my illness was only some diarrhea. Later, it grew worse and became a mix of several illnesses attacking together, until in the end I truly could not endure it anymore. I have often heard people say, if a man reaches 50, his death is no longer considered early. Now I am already over 60. What regret is there in dying? The only thing I cannot put down in my heart is the thought of you brothers. You must strive to do better. You must strive to do better. Never do evil just because it is small, and never refuse to do good just because it is small. The only things that can truly win people's trust are virtue and ability. Your father's virtue was shallow and is not worth learning from. You must follow the Chancellor and treat him as you would treat your father. You must never be careless. You must not forget this. You brothers must also seek progress for yourselves and accomplish something. My instructions end here." They end here. After the officials finished reading the edict, Kong Ming stepped forward and said, "The state cannot go even one day without an emperor. Please establish the crown prince to inherit the throne and continue the bloodline of the Han house." So Liu Shan was enthroned as emperor, and the era name was changed to Jianxing. Zhuge Liang was granted the title Marquis of Wuxiang and also served as governor of Yizhou. Liu Bei was buried at Huiling with the posthumous title Emperor Zheoli. Empress Wu was honored as Empress Dowager. Lady Gan was posthumously honored as Empress Zheoli, and Lady Mi was also posthumously honored as Empress. The officials were rewarded, and a general amnesty was declared throughout the realm. This news was soon sent to the Central Plains by Wei spies. A close attendant immediately reported it to the Wei ruler. When Cao Pi heard it, he was delighted and said, "Liu Bei is dead." I no longer have any worry behind me. Why not take advantage of Shu's new loss of its lord and raise troops to attack it? Jiesu advised, although Liu Bei is dead, he must have entrusted his final affairs to Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang is grateful for Liu Bei's recognition and trust, and he will surely do everything he can to assist the new ruler. Your Majesty must not send troops rashly. As they were speaking, a man suddenly stepped out in court and said loudly, "If we do not advance at this time, then what are we waiting for?" Everyone looked and saw that it was Sima Yi. Cao Pi was very pleased and immediately asked him what plan he had. Sima Yi said, "If we use only the troops of the central plains, it will be difficult to win in one stroke. We must send 5 rows of armies at the same time and attack from all sides, so Zhuge Liang cannot look after both head and tail. Only then do we have a chance of victory." Cao Pi asked which 5 roads. Sima Yi replied, "We can write a letter and send an envoy to the Shanbei state of Liaodong, to King Kepineng, and bribe him with gold, silk, and goods. Let him raise 100,000 Qiang soldiers from Liaoxi and attack Siping Pass by land. That is the first road. Then write another letter granting titles and rewards, and send men deep into the southern tribes to meet the barbarian king Meng Huo. Ask him to raise 100,000 troops and attack the 4 commanderies of Yizhou, Yongchang, Zhangke, and Yuexi, invading western Sichuan from the south. That is the second route. Then send envoys to restore friendship with eastern Wu, promise land to Sun Quan, and ask him to send 100,000 troops from Xieko into Sichuan, going straight for Fu City. That is the third route. Then send men to find the surrendered Meng Da and have him raise 100,000 soldiers from Shangyang to attack from the west side of Hanzhang. That is the fourth route. Finally, appoint the great general Cao Zhen as Grand Commander and have him personally lead 100,000 troops from Jingzhou through Yangping Pass to attack western Sichuan. That is the fifth route, 5 armies, 500,000 troops in all. If all 5 routes attack together, even if Zhuge Liang had the ability of Jiang Taigong, how could he stop them? Cao Pi was delighted after hearing this. He immediately sent 4 highly eloquent ministers as envoys in different directions, and at the same time appointed Cao Zhen as Grand Commander, ordering him to lead 100,000 troops toward Yangping Pass. At that time, old generals such as Zhang Liao had mostly already been granted noble titles and were guarding important places such as Jizhou, Suzhou, Qingzhou, and Hefei, so they were not moved again. Meanwhile, since Liu Shan, the later ruler of Shu Han, had ascended the throne, many old ministers had died one after another, and there is no need to list them all here. Matters such as appointing officials, managing money and grain, and hearing lawsuits at court were all handled entirely by Chancellor Zhuge Liang. At that time, the later ruler had not yet established an empress. Kongming and the officials jointly submitted a memorial, saying, "The daughter of the late general of chariots and cavalry, Zhang Fei, is very virtuous and is 17 years old this year. She may be established as the main empress." The later ruler accepted the proposal and took her as empress. In the 8th month of autumn, in the first year of Jianxing, urgent military reports suddenly arrived from the borders. Wei has mobilized 5 routes of armies to attack western Sichuan. The first route is Cao Zhen, serving as Grand Commander, leading 100,000 troops to attack Yangping Pass. The second route is the surrendered Meng Da, leading 100,000 soldiers from Xiangyong to invade Hanzhong. The third route is Sun Quan, raising 100,000 elite troops from eastern Wu and entering Sichuan from Xiakou. The fourth route is Meng Huo of the southern tribes, leading 100,000 barbarian troops to attack the 4 commanderies of Yizhou. The fifth route is the barbarian king Kepineng, raising 100,000 Qiang soldiers to attack Siping Pass. These 5 armies are vast in force and extremely fierce. The military reports had already reached the chancellor's residence, but for some unknown reason, Zhuge Liang did not appear for several days to handle state affairs. After the later ruler heard the report, he was badly frightened and immediately sent close attendants with an imperial order to summon Kongming to court. After half a day, the attendants returned and reported. The people at the chancellor's residence answered that the chancellor is ill and cannot go out. The later ruler grew even more panicked. The next day, he sent the palace attendant Dong Yun and the remonstrance counselor Du Qiong in person to the chancellor's residence to report this major matter. But when the 2 arrived at the chancellor's residence, they could not even get through the gate. Du Qiong said, "The late emperor entrusted the later ruler to the chancellor. Now, our lord has just taken the throne and Cao Pi's 5 armies are invading the borders. The military situation is urgent. Why does the chancellor claim illness and refuse to come out? After a long while, the gatekeeper brought out the chancellor's reply saying, "My illness has already improved. Tomorrow morning I will go to the council hall to discuss matters." Dong Yun and Du Chong could only sigh and return. The next day, many ministers again gathered outside the chancellor's residence and waited. From morning until evening, they still did not see the chancellor come out. Everyone felt deeply uncertain, and in the end, they could only scatter helplessly. Du Chong entered the palace and reported to the later ruler, saying, "Please, Your Majesty, personally go to the chancellor's residence and ask for a plan." The later ruler then led the ministers into the palace and first reported the matter to the Empress Dowager. When the Empress Dowager heard this, she was greatly shocked and said, "How can the chancellor act like this? Is this not failing the trust of the late emperor? I will go and ask him myself." Dong Yun quickly advised, "Your Majesty should not move lightly. I believe the chancellor must have a deeper meaning. Please allow His Majesty to go first in person. If the chancellor still neglects him, then it will not be too late for Your Majesty to summon him to the ancestral temple." The Empress Dowager listened and nodded in agreement. The next day, the later ruler personally went to the chancellor's residence. When the gatekeepers saw the imperial carriage arrive, they were frightened and hurriedly knelt to welcome him. The later ruler asked, "Where is the chancellor?" The gatekeeper replied, "We do not know where he is. He only left one instruction, saying that no official is allowed to enter." The later ruler then got out of the carriage and walked in alone. After passing through the third gate, he saw Cheng Bing leaning on a bamboo staff, standing alone beside a small pond and watching the fish. The later ruler stood behind him for a while before slowly saying, "Chancellor, have you been well recently?" Cheng Bing turned back and saw that it was the later ruler. Frightened, he quickly threw down his cane, dropped to his knees and said, "This subject deserves death 10,000 times." The later ruler helped him up and asked, "Now Cao Pi has divided his troops into 5 routes to invade us, and the situation is urgent. Chancellor Father, why have you stayed in your residence all this time and not come out to handle state affairs?" Cheng Bing smiled, supported the later ruler as they entered the inner room and sat down and said, "How could I not know that these 5 routes of armies are invading? I was not watching fish, I was thinking through the countermeasures." The later ruler asked, "Then what should we do now?" Cheng Bing said, "The Chang King Kebinang, the southern barbarian Meng Huo, the rebel general Meng Da, and the Wei general Cao Zhen. I have already dealt with these 4 routes. Only Sun Quan's route remains untouched, but I have already thought of a method. I only lack an eloquent man to send as envoy, and because I have not yet found a suitable person, I have been thinking it over again and again. Why should Your Majesty worry?" After the later ruler heard this, he was both surprised and delighted. He said, "The Chancellor truly has divine strategy and wonderful calculation. It is unbelievable. I would like to hear in detail how Chancellor Father plans to drive back the enemy." Cheng Bing said, "The late emperor entrusted Your Majesty to me. How would I dare be careless for even a moment? Many officials in Chengdu do not understand military strategy. What matters most is winning by surprise, and these arrangements are not convenient to let others know. I learned long ago that the western barbarian king Kabinang planned to attack Xiping Pass. Ma Chao's ancestors were originally from western Sichuan, and his reputation among the Qiang people is extremely high. He is called the General of Heavenly Might. I have already sent someone by night to deliver a letter to him, ordering him to guard Xiping Pass, set up 4 hidden forces, change them every day, and hold firm without going out. This route does not need to be feared. As for the southern barbarian Meng Huo attacking the 4 commanderies, I have already ordered Wei Yan to lead an army and use the decoy strategy of appearing from the left and entering from the right, appearing from the right and entering from the left. Barbarian troops usually rely mainly on brute force, but their hearts are full of suspicion. Once they see decoy forces, they will not dare advance rashly. This route also does not need to be worried about. Then there is Meng Da attacking Hanzhong. He and Liang are friends for life and death. When I returned to Chengdu, I deliberately left Liang to guard Yong'an Palace. I wrote a letter pretending it was written by Liang himself and had someone deliver it to Meng Da. Meng Da will surely pretend to be ill and refuse to go out, delaying the morale of his army. This route can also be set at ease. Cao Zhen wants to attack Yangping Pass. The terrain there is dangerous and easy to defend, but difficult to attack. I have already sent Zhao Yun to guard it and told him to hold up firm and not fight outside. If Cao Zhen attacks for a long time without success, he will naturally withdraw. These 4 routes of enemy troops have basically all been handled. But I still worry that something may change. So I secretly moved the 2 generals Guansheng and Zhang Bao, each with 30,000 troops, to guard key positions and support the different routes as needed. These troop movements did not pass through the central offices in Chengdu, so outsiders know nothing about them. Only Eastern Wu's route may not necessarily move for now. If they see the other 4 armies succeed and Shu fall into danger, they will certainly raise troops and attack. But if they see that all 4 routes are not going well, why would they move? I believe Sun Quan still remembers the hatred from when Cao Pi attacked Wu in 3 routes, so he will surely not obey the order to send troops. Even so, we still need to send an eloquent man there to explain the advantages and dangers clearly and first persuade Eastern Wu to withdraw. If that is done, what are the other 4 routes worth mentioning? I simply have not yet found a suitable speaker, and that is why I have been uncertain. Why did Your Majesty need to come here personally? The later ruler said, the Empress Dowager also wanted to come see the Chancellor. Now that I have heard these words from the Chancellor, it is like waking from a dream. What is there still to worry about? Kang Ming and the later ruler then drank a few cups of wine together, and Kang Ming personally escorted the later ruler out of the residence. The officials were all standing in a circle outside the gate, waiting. When they saw the later ruler with a smile on his face, they were all curious. The later ruler said farewell to Kang Ming, got into the carriage, and returned to the palace, while the officials remained puzzled. Kang Ming saw one man among the crowd looking up to the sky and laughing, his face also full of joy. Looking closely, he saw that this man was from Xinye in Liang. His surname was Deng, his given name was Ji, and his courtesy name was Bo Miao. He was currently Minister of Revenue and was a descendant of the famous Han general Deng Yu. Kang Ming's heart stirred, and he quietly sent someone to keep Deng Ji behind. After the officials had left, Kang Ming invited Deng Ji into the study and said to him, "Now Shu Wei and Wu stand as 3 powers. If we want to unite the Central Plains and revive the Han, which state should we attack first?" Deng Ji replied, "In my humble opinion, although Wei is the traitor of the Han, its foundation is deep and its power is great. It cannot be shaken in a short time, so we should plan for the long term. Now our Lord has newly taken the throne, and the people's hearts are not yet settled. We should make friendship with Eastern Wu and form an alliance as close as lips and teeth. We should wipe away the old resentment from the late emperor's time. That is the long-term plan. I do not know what the Chancellor thinks." Kang Ming laughed loudly and said, "I had this idea long ago. I only had not found the right person. Today, I have finally found him." Deng Ji asked, "For what matter does the Chancellor wish to find someone?" Kang Ming replied, "I want to send someone to restore friendship with Eastern Wu. Since you understand this principle, I believe you will not disgrace the mission. This envoy's duty can belong to no one but you." Deng Ji quickly declined and said, "My talent is shallow and my learning is limited. I fear I cannot bear such an important task." Kang Ming said, "Tomorrow, I will submit a memorial to His Majesty and ask to send you as envoy to Eastern Wu. Bo Miao, you must not refuse." Deng Ji agreed, then took his leave and departed. The next day, Kang Ming submitted the request to the later ruler, and permission was granted to send Deng Ji to Eastern Wu. Deng Ji said farewell and set out on the road east. In the Battle of Xiaoting, Liu Bei buried almost all the elite forces that Shu Han had just managed to gather in Eastern Wu's Sea of Fire. From Guan Yu's defeat and death, to Zhang Fei's murder, and then to Huang Zhong's death in battle, most of the 5 tiger generals had already fallen. Liu Bei had wanted to use this eastern campaign to avenge his brothers, but he never expected that the revenge would still not truly be complete. Instead, Shu Han's strength was badly damaged. In the end, he could only retreat to Beatty City, change the post house into Yong'an Palace, and no longer had the face to return to Chengdu and face the officials. What makes it even more heartbreaking is that before Liu Bei died, he finally understood that his greatest mistake was not listening to Zhu Liang's advice. In Yong'an Palace, he dreamed that Guan Yu and Zhang Fei came to see him, and he knew that his time was near. So he urgently summoned Zhu Liang, Li Yan, and the others to Beatty City to arrange his final affairs. Liu Bei entrusted the young Liu Shan to Zhu Liang, and specially warned him that Ma Su was a man whose words exceeded his real ability and must not be given great responsibility. Finally, he held Zhu Liang's hand and spoke those heavy final words of entrustment. If Liu Shan was worth assisting, then assist him. If he truly was not capable, Zhu Liang could take his place himself. After Zhu Liang heard this, he kowtowed until blood flowed from his forehead and made his vow. He would give all his heart and strength, work to the very end, and only stop when death came. From this moment on, Shu Han truly entered the era of Zhu Liang's rule. But just after Liu Bei died, Cao Pi saw his chance. He prepared to take advantage of Shu Han's new ruler, the unstable state, and launch 5 armies at once to attack western Sichuan. To the north was Cao Zhen, to the west were the Cheng troops, to the south was Meng Huo, To the east was Sun Quan, and in the middle was the rebel general Meng Da. 500,000 soldiers were pressing in from every direction. The court was thrown into panic, and Liu Shan was so frightened that he personally went to the chancellor's residence to ask Zhu Liang for help. But Zhu Liang kept his doors closed and did not come out. For several days in a row, he did not handle state affairs. Everyone thought he was ill. Some even began to wonder whether he had failed the late emperor's final trust. Only when Liu Shan personally entered the chancellor's residence did he discover that Zhu Liang had not ignored the crisis at all. He had already arranged the plans to drive back the 5 armies. Ma Chao would block the Qiang troops. Wei Yan would confuse the southern barbarians. Li Yan's letter would hold back Meng Da. Zhao Yun would firmly guard Yangping Pass. Guanxing and Zhang Bao would secretly move between key positions to support the different fronts. 4 routes of danger were already within Zhu Liang's control. Only the final route remained, Sun Quan of Eastern Wu. And to solve the problem of Eastern Wu, what was needed was not weapons, but words. At this moment, Zhu Liang saw a man in the crowd looking up at the sky and laughing. This man was Deng Ji. Once Zhu Liang asked him, Deng Ji indeed saw the larger situation clearly. Shu Han could not be enemies with both Wei and Wu at the same time. It had to first restore relations with Eastern Wu, form an alliance as close as lips and teeth, and only then plan a northern campaign against Ta Wei. And so Zhu Liang finally found the person who would go as envoy to Eastern Wu. So if Deng Ji goes to Eastern Wu alone, will he be able to persuade Sun Quan? Sun Quan has just gone through the Battle of Yiling, and there is such deep hatred between Wu and Shu. Will he really be willing to form an alliance again? And as for the 4 armies Zhu Liang said he had already dealt with, will they truly withdraw according to his plan? We'll continue the story in the next episode.
If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to give the show a like, subscribe, and share it with someone you think would enjoy it too. Thank you for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next episode.
Sky in light, Nua healed the broken heart. Fuxi traced the world's design. Every age leaves stories bright. Yaya dynasty shaped bronze. Shang dynasty cast oracle bones. Thou dynasty built right. Qin dynasty forged the great walls. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. 3 kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Jin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learning's flame. Yun dynasty swept the northern plains. Ming dynasty strengthened walls again. Qing dynasty closed an ancient end. Every age leaves stories bright. History and myth ignite in endless light. China's history moves in mystery through the night. Footsteps of this land enchant the world in light. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. 3 kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains. Tang Dynasty raise. Learn